Hello, everyone. I'm Ron Presley with Catfish Now magazine, and my guests tonight are Carl Morris Jr. and I'm going to say Robert A. Parsons because I had so much trouble finding him at first when I only knew him as Rob. So they're my guests tonight, and they're fresh off of fishing the Mississippi River Monsters down in Memphis, and we're just going to talk a little bit about that tonight. So well, Carl, in the first place, you live in Ohio, so that's not really close to Memphis, is it?
No, it's about for us about 9.5 hour drive to get down to Memphis, so it's a haul.
9.5, and I hope that went all right.
It did, it did.
Rob, I was just going to ask you, was it more fun going down or coming back?
Definitely coming back. Well,
I mean,
a little more tired coming back, but good
bet
trip.
you were. But those smiles you got on your face right now, I bet we're on there all the way back in that car too, because you guys really caught some fish down there in Memphis.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, this was the first year that I didn't get to go ever, from the first one. So a little disappointing for me, but we'll just blame it on that old virus thing and let it go. But I did get to see some of the live feed and some of the after pictures and all. But what I do know is that during Monster Week, you guys really cleaned up. On the first day, I guess you and Carl and Amanda was fishing with you that first day, I guess, and you got big fish, and then the second Monster Week day you got big fish, and then come the tournament day, and you brought back 133.77 pounds for second place, and that was only 2 pounds out of the lead. And I don't think I realized that till I was looking closer today. Is that right? You're just a couple pounds short.
That was right. We didn't quite think we were that close. We saw the scale, and it was we about died. We knew we had a good bag, but we didn't know we were quite that close until we saw that scale hit 133.
You see those close things in crappie tournaments a lot, but I don't see so many in catfish tournaments. That's just really close. But there was a lot of good fish caught, and in fact, I think I'll start today with. I'm going to pull up a little thing here. Rob's new personal best, 92 pounds. Tell us a little bit about that, Rob. Now, that was before Monster Week, I guess, or at least it was pre-fishing. Is that right, Carl?
Yeah, that was actually Carl's new personal best.
Well, no, that's Carl's. That banner's wrong. I told you I was at the eye doctor today.
No, that was
we know Rob doesn't want that. That's for sure. We'll get rid of that.
No, that's actually downgrading Rob from his 115.
He said, "What is this?" It was 115 the last time he looked, right?
It got smaller, Rob.
Well, tell us a little bit about that big fish, Carl.
Yes.
I caught that fish the very first day pre-fishing. I went to a spot that we've normally fished, and I didn't even scan. I just put the poles down, started drifting through a spot, and caught a good fish, and put the bait back in the water. And the second fish was the 92. Right off the bat, that was a great start to the week. I couldn't have started any better, I don't think.
And I heard you had a special net person in there.
I did. Amanda, Rob couldn't come down for the first few days. He was stuck at work, and Amanda came with me. Amanda, she's fished with me a lot over the years, but that was the biggest fish she ever got to lay a net on.
I'll tell you what, that's something. And look at that. It's Carl's new personal best, 92 pounds, folks. You gotta see it. Let me see if I can't bring a picture of that up here. Hang on just a second.
Hey, Mike.
I think this is it right here. Wow. Wow, look at that. That is something else. I'll tell you what, we got a lot of people out there just wishing that was going to be on their line one of these days. That's a nice one. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that is a beauty.
I think it's even funner catching that fish in the Mississippi River. We've caught a lot of big fish, out of, especially over in Alabama. My big fish was 85 before that, but catching that 92 in that Mississippi River current, boy, you can't beat that.
Yeah, no kidding. Is it a special challenge for you over there, would you say, or?
It is. I mean, I enjoy fishing in Mississippi because it changes so much. I mean, I can go down to Wheeler and Wilson Lake, fish a lot of the same areas and catch fish. You can go to the Mississippi River and you can burn fish up one week. That river drops 5 feet, raises 5 feet, and the ball game changes dramatically down there. So the challenge, the degree of difficulty is a lot higher on the Mississippi, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's one of the challenges for sure. We got a bunch of people coming in here. Hello, Chris DeBow, Fishing with the Chad, Adrian Dungeon, Mike Greenwell's in here, Willie Calhoun. If you guys got any questions for these guys, why go ahead and post them up. Sean Abney, hi. There's listen to Scott Cress. You see Scott Cress there? He says you need more background, please. I told those guys the story, but I've been to the eye doctor today, and my pupils are dilated, and I can't understand the light, so I'm sitting here in the dark.
No, Amanda's been on the boat for a long time. Amanda knows how to take good pictures.
Yeah.
She's trained us all.
Pepper, there you go. Now Scott says, please. He's wanting that background lit up, but I just can't take it. I'm sorry. Willie Calhoun says it sounds like Carl loves a challenge with changing water. Yeah, I would say so.
It is. I mean, like I said, that's one of those things that I love a challenge. I mean, fishing is always a challenge, but we've conquered. I won't say conquered, but we've done well on a lot of lakes and a lot of smaller rivers. But the Mississippi River, I mean, she can love you or hate you. She can love you one minute, and then next week, boy, she can treat you bad.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
I remember, Ron, one of the first times Carl came out to Mississippi, he came back and he told me, ever want to go back to that river again? Out now.
Yeah, there you go.
That is true.
Yeah, I can believe it. Well, let's move on to that first day of Monster Week when they were given the big prize or big fish prize. On that day, you and Amanda were on a boat and caught. How big was that fish that won the first time?
It was 60. It went 60 point something, but 60 pounds.
And did you catch him in the same area you caught the big one?
No, I mean, one thing that I actually set out to do down there was fish different waters. So, I mean, from Sunday till Thursday, we fished a different area. The 93, I caught it 50 miles away from where I caught the 60. And I caught the 44 about another 20 miles away from there. So, I mean, we covered about 80 miles of river down there during the week, just looking around at new stuff that we'd never seen before.
Well, that's a lot of water for sure. And then came day 2 of Monster Week, and Rob was on the boat with you this time. Amanda was on the boat too, though, right?
No. Rob kicked her off on Thursday. It was just me and Rob.
Not on day 2.
She was giving him heck all day long because we'd had such a great week pre-fishing. She told Rob if the luck changed, she was going to kick him off the boat.
There you go. Well, so that second day rolled around, though, and here you guys come in.
Some big shoes to fill.
Yeah, won it again. So, Rob, was there anything special about that fish that day? I mean, it was special because it won first place. How'd you catch it?
That too. Carl actually pulled that bad boy in.
We caught the fish bumping, and Mike had asked about the big one. We caught it bumping too, Mike. The 92 came bumping, and the 60 and the 40. All three came bumping down there.
Okay, good deal. Was Mike asking you about that? I missed that in the.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Good.
Yeah.
How fast? Let me get Chris DeBow's question in here for you. How fast a current do you target down there?
Well, Chris, that changes a little bit. This time we actually were targeting a lot slower current. The fish we found was pretty much, I'll say, in 1.5 to 2 mile an hour current down there. And we was bumping real slow comparatively. We was bumping about 0.7, 0.8. Just to seem to be the slow walk really helped us out. We fished a lot of harder, faster current and found some fish, caught some, but it seemed like the bigger fish was laying in that softer current. At least a couple of days we found them.
Now, in general, did the current vary over the week?
I think it varied a little bit, but I mean, just the areas of the river vary. Regardless of what's going on, and that's where we just really targeted the slower areas. I usually like a little faster current myself. Usually helps pin the fish down a little bit better. But I found those fish, patterned them out during the week, and I found the same fish in the same type of water over 80 miles. So we just kept staying in the same locations. Style locations as far as that current was going, and just seemed to really help.
Yeah, well, I've always heard George Young Jr. say you could find any current you wanted in that river somewhere. I guess that's true.
That's true.
Yeah, Justin, you're right. We were cutting it real close on that day, so we'd called, checked in to see where it was, because we knew we had a decent fish, but with a 44-pound fish, you just never know out that Mississippi. So we kind of pushed it to the last minute to see if anybody was going to bring anything else in. And no, I think we made it with, we couldn't have had 5 minutes to spare when we got there.
Oh, brother. That Justin, he don't miss nothing.
No.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on from the Monster Week to the actual tournament. You actually brought in 133.77 pounds. That's a lot of fish. Just kind of walk us through that. Rob, start us off here. Tournament day. What's your recollection?
I was along for the ride a lot on this one. Carl, he picked out all the spots before I got there.
You trust him?
Started out the bumping and was fire for the first hour or two. Carl was pretty slow. Every once in a while he puts me on a big one. So,
you guys have fished together.
We kind of switch back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, you guys have fished together as partners for quite a while.
Yeah.
How important is that? You kind of know what that other guy's going to do or whatever.
Ron, that's probably one of the reasons.
It helps a lot having the consistency on the boat.
Yep. I'd say that's one of the biggest reasons why we do, halfway decent, consistently, is because we work together well. You figure me and Rob, not only fishing, we've worked together, at the company for 20 years together side by side, and then we fish side by side. So, I've spent more time with this man in my life than I have probably anybody else. So.
Yeah, it happens when you're in the car traveling, you're in the boat, you're sleeping together and everything else. So, yeah. Here's a little congrat for you from Mike Greenwell. 133 pounds and 3 fish. I just think about that. That's pretty awesome. Very nice.
Like Robin said, we started off bumping, first thing in the morning. We found some, fish in that slower current scattered on some wood. And, Rob was, he was lighting them up. I caught one fish on a drip. I think Rob had 4 going down through there. But, we had one good fish out of the bunch, but the rest of them were, 20, 25, 27 pounds. We just couldn't get that next big bite. So we finally we quit drifting, and we actually went and anchored down on a spot. We had a hole that we'd seen a couple good fish laying down in. We went to that spot, caught a couple good fish again, 25, 26, 27 pounds. And I told Rob we had actually downsized our bait with the cold front coming through. Water changing, we downsized our bait, a lot smaller than normal. It seemed to be working real well in the morning. We just couldn't get that big bite. So I looked at Rob. I said, "Man, give me the double hook." And, I threw the whole skipjack out there. And I could say 10 minutes, Rob. I walked it down in there, and about 10 minutes later,
next. Yep.
Say that again, Rob. He was kind of talking over you there. Rob, what was that last thing you said?
Oh, yeah. It was about 10 minutes into his that's about 10 minutes into it. He got his big one off his big bait.
I'm always big bait. Rob usually runs smaller bait. I love the whole skipjack.
Yeah, there's some people that are just that way. I'd name Jeff Dodd for one. I don't think he likes anything but a big bait.
Well, where do you think I learned some of that stuff at?
There you go. Yeah. Well, that's good, and I love to see the anglers that will share stuff, and you guys, of course, have always been known for that as well. So we all thank you for that.
Yeah, we learned a long time ago. As good as you think you are, you're not, and I just hanging around the tournaments. Every seminar, every time I've talked to somebody, that's the only thing I've always said. Stick around to weigh in. You'll be amazed at what you'll hear, what you'll learn, what you'll find out from some of these guys. So
yeah, most of them I think are pretty willing to share things. Now I've noticed over the years it's a lot better to ask questions, like if it's a day 2 tournament, get a lot better answer on day 2 than I did on day 1. But
yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah, I think I understand that. Okay, not a problem. All right, and the other thing I had on my mind, when you fish against 103 boats. And we actually capped it this year. George capped it this year at that because just to make it go more efficiently. And of course, the 3 fish limit was different to make it go a little more efficiently, and so on. And those things are good for the fish themselves. And conservation is important. So, do you do anything special about taking care of the fish in the boat?
Well, no, I mean, we take care of our fish, but a lot of people ask me if we run oxygen or whatnot, and we don't. We've got a normal live well that's got it's over pumped. I mean, we've got 1,100 gallon per hour pumps on it, circulating it. We've always trailered through the Cabela's events, trailered on these events, this event. And I mean, we've never had a problem taking care of our fish. I mean, I think it just boils down to you keep an eye on them. You check your water temperature. You keep an eye on those fish. As long as your live well is turning over that water like it should, I don't think you have a problem. So we've been very fortunate. I mean, you can ask the Ramsey boys from Pipeline Tackle who weighed those big fish every day. They were amazed. We trailered them fish, and out a live well up here. I mean, that 60, I mean, it whooped a couple of us coming out there. So.
Yeah. By the way, I'm glad you mentioned the Ramsey guys there because they did a great job there. And it's those kind of workers and volunteers at tournaments that don't get all the credit they deserve. So those guys really did do a great job. And I'm glad you brought them up. You're going to have to talk to Mike Greenwell about that whole skipjack, though, it looks like.
Hey, Mike, you don't know what you're missing.
That'll be enough.
Experience that whole skipjack. Whack the tail off of it, slice it up a little bit, and throw it out there. You'll find some bigger fish down there in that high river.
That ought to be enough, Mike. All you got to do is just get out there and do it. Jack Hyde says, congratulations and thanks for the help with the tools to fix my trailer. There you go. Always been good to me. You guys.
We saw Jack come screaming in the weigh-in line there on a flat tire. If I remember right, I think he said he may have traveled about 5 miles on that flat tire, making sure he got there to weigh in. So,
oh my gosh,
a couple tools there. Yeah, Jack's a real good guy. I like Jack a lot. So I wouldn't go do anything to help him out.
You never know when something's going to happen. I remember, in fact, at a Mississippi River Monsters tournament, maybe the second one or something, George Young got a call from Big Cat Matheny and Vicky, and they were off down there towards, south somewhere. And I happened to be there and rode with George out there. We had to go out there and help them because they had a little car trouble and all. But you'll hear something like that at every tournament. And there's always somebody around to take care of the folks. And, another good thing about our catfish community.
And Joe, yep, you're right. Extra water on the trips. I got 2 live wells on there. I always keep water in the other one just in case I need fresh water, in case anything happens. I always carry about another 50, 60 gallons with me at all times. So,
yeah, here's another question.
Willie, nope, no, I do not. So I do not.
Roy Harkness. Roy had some good fish down there.
He did. Roy's a tough guy to compete with on that Mississippi River down there.
He's always tough down
He
there. That's
probably been a
right.
little tougher if he wasn't sleeping all day on Friday.
Yeah, I saw that photo too. I guess the world saw that photo, Roy.
I think we
Sorry.
found Roy's weakness.
Yeah, yeah. He had a good
I think it's
explanation.
apple pie something.
He had a good explanation. I just don't know if I believe it.
Thanks, Mr. Bink. I appreciate it.
Bink says, congrats. Yeah, there you go. All right. Any more questions from you guys out there in Facebook and YouTube world? Get them in here.
No, like I said, I think George, being a business owner, I know how tough it is to run any kind of business or any kind of event right now. So, I've seen a lot of, chatter going around about this and that, the tournament. I just want to tell George thanks. I think he did a good job with the tournament on things. A lot of tough conditions out there. We enjoyed the tournament. We had a blast. So, I think it was a very good event, and thank you.
There you go. Rob, have you got any final thoughts on your mind tonight?
Oh, no, sir. I think we about spit it all out there for everybody.
Well, you had an awesome trip down there. In fact, here's George. He's tuned in, watching in. He said, great job, too. And we can all congratulate George, too, for getting it done in these tough times. It just isn't easy. And, all the volunteers, no. I come back to them again, and we mentioned the Ramseys, and I can't name the others. I wasn't there. I don't know who they all were, but George always has a good crew around there to help out. What else we got here? Do you run any down rods while bumping? Or just too much effort?
That depends, Chris. I mean, every once in a while we do, if we're in the right type of bottom. When I'm fishing on the reedment ledge and it's going up and down, I don't mess with it. Like you said, it's too much hassle. We catch, majority of our fish are caught off the bumping rod anyways. So, I mean, very rarely do we do down rods. Can't say we don't, because we do, but I mean, it's very rare.
Here's another something for George. If he's still watching, thanks for helping my trolling motor. So he must have had a little problem there. Jack Height says, hats off to George Young and the crew. So they're echoing our congratulatory remarks there.
What temperature do you stop bumping? I mean, you ask 10 different guys, you get 10 different answers to that question. But my opinion is when you start getting around the 50, 55 degree range, somewhere in that area, they usually start going down. If it's under 50, I usually won't even try. Not to say you can't catch fish, because we have caught fish when it's been colder like that bumping. But my experience is you got to slow it way down, find that softer current, or be able to walk down into a hole and let it set.
Yeah. Willie Calhoun made a comment also about the Ramsey brothers. Again, we thank them for their help a little earlier on. They did a great job out there. And they
traveled all the way up here to Ohio to one of Willie's events last year. So showing off pipeline tackle. So they get around. Yeah.
Anytime you see those folks that are volunteering in these tournaments, somebody just step up and say thank you, because they're getting about nothing out of it other than they love the sport and they're trying to help out, So, well, how about your sponsors, guys? Who is it that helps you do what you love to do?
Well, I mean, we don't really carry any sponsors anymore, to be honest with you. Okay. It just got to the point where it just, we've always taken care of ourselves, so that's kind of what we do. We fish with Fat Boy custom rods and monster rod holders, but I won't tell you that we're sponsored by anybody.
There you go. Good enough. All right. I'm just kind of watching here to see if any more questions come in before we let you go. You're probably still catching up sleep, I suspect, from that trip. And
yeah, like this is a week of work. You come back from that, work's crazy. So
going to work. Yeah, I know it. Well, guys, I want to thank you for coming on tonight. It's been a lot of fun, and I mainly want to congratulate you on the win. It was an awesome trip. I know you had fun. You caught a lot of fish. Did you, by the way, happen to count how many fish you caught?
No, we had it at the beginning of the week, but I mean, we averaged about 15 fish every day, and I mean, we had something over 40, 50 every day. Except for I think Friday. Friday. We only got what we get Friday. I think it was mid-30s.
Friday was slower.
Yeah,
So Friday was our slow day.
That's pretty good. Any way you look at it, though, with that,
Yep.
It paid off to drive all the way down there, you might say.
I tell you, I've told most
Yes.
everybody that's probably one of my funnest fishing trips I have ever had. So I told Amanda, thank you. I don't know how many times for coming down because it's been a crazy year with the COVID and trying to run a business, and I haven't been able to fish as much. And I told her a while back, I'm taking a week off and I'm going to Mississippi and I'm going to fish all week long, daylight to dark. And she let me fish daylight to dark every day. So
there you go. That was a good vacation. There's another question from Mike Greenwell.
Actually, Mike, we use just a shade shorter than the 7 foot. We got 2 custom made ones. They're 6'6".
There you go, Mike. And Alan, thanks for a great show. Yeah, a wonderful show, you guys. Thanks a lot. And
Thanks, Alan.
we're gonna let you go here. Here's one more comment. I'll put it up here. Congrats, guys, hard workers and hard fishermen who deserve what you work hard for. Catch you guys later. So thanks to everyone for watching. Fish with passion.